is going to be Docker and Kubernetes, which is quite complex, right? Before that, we'll club everything together, whatever we learned so far. Uh, Start recording. Yes. Okay, let me call them and tell them. I think they forgot. Yeah, it's recording now. Okay. All right. This project is gonna be the combination of whatever we learned so far, excluding Puppet. So we have seen the Git repository. We know the developers will put the source code over there. As the source code, there will be also your automation code, your Ansible playbooks we have put over there. Okay. Then we have seen the Maven build process through Jenkins. We build the application, okay, into an artifact. We do source code analysis. Once we do the source code analysis, or artifact is tested, we put it into a Nexus repository. From the Nexus repository, we can deploy it to the Tomcat server. As we are having a Java application, we are going to use a Tomcat server to host it. So we're going to do the continuous integration phase first, and you are free to integrate other things also over there, like email notification and other thing, and any other. So Solar Cube integration is one more thing that I'll show you that you can integrate it. So as I told you, Jenkins, we are going to revisit. So this is one time, and one more time when we do Docker, then also we'll revisit the Jenkins. Okay, once our artifact is generated and stored into Nexus repository, we have seen in continuous integration when we're learning Jenkins, we can also deploy it by using deploy to container plugin. All right, but deploy to container plugin, as I told you, can deploy just one artifact to one machine, and if you want to deploy to a 10, 20, like that, multiple, so that many times you have to give that plugin configuration. But if you want to not just deploy the artifact, but also want to do the configuration management also in our continuous delivery pipeline, like we want to make sure that the right version of Java is installed on Tomcat machine, the right version of Tomcat is installed, right? The firewalls are set properly, the latest artifact is getting deployed, right? And any other configuration change that we want to do on the operating system, we can do through Ansible, we know. But today we'll see how to integrate also Ansible with Jenkins, and then we do it for multiple environments like dev, QA, staging, and productions. Okay, so we're going to do that. So first we'll create a job in Jenkins, and name it as vprofile hyphen source code analysis. First, we'll do the code analysis. So as usual, we'll check out the source code first. So So if you see in the source code, we have here multiple branches, first of all, and then we have in every branch, we have the Ansible directory. This directory contains a playbook that will install Java. It will install Tomcat. It will download the artifact from the Nexus. You have to provide the right variables over here, okay? Because this will be the URL. You have to provide the Nexus IP address. You have to pass the variable in Ansible, the group ID item, the build number, the vProfile version. You have to give the entire URL, okay, with variables over here. Then we stop the Tomcat service. We copy our application to the var lib Tomcat web apps directory. Okay, then we create some link, okay, and delink few things. I'll explain all of this step by step to you. Okay, it's build. The source code is checkout. In the workspace, we have now everything, right? Now, let's do the source code analysis for this by using check style. So we're going to use the Maven style colon check style, and then we'll also publish the check style analysis result. Okay, this is the same place where you have to do the source code analysis with Sonar Cube. Okay, first we'll do the source code analysis once everything checks out fine. Okay, what's the problem now? It failed. Oops. Okay, let the source code analysis continue. We'll create another job which is going to build the artifact and put it to the Nexus repository. Okay, so I'll give the name vProfile -dev style project. Now install phase will create the artifact. Now what we'll do is we'll upload this artifact to the Nexus. So Nexus artifact uploader, and the Nexus URL. Since I told you it belongs to the same network, we're going to give the IP address, private IP address of the Nexus. Basically, it's the same thing what we did, okay, plus the Ansible, all right? Credentials. So the repository here, yes.
Yeah, I just missed the beginning. I just wanted to know, are we setting up all these things on the cloud, AWS cloud?
Yes, everything is on the AWS cloud. We have
Okay, that's fine.
one Jenkins server, one Nexus server, and then we're going to create some Tomcat server also.
Okay. The same project which we are on the like used to do on the
Yes,
one
exactly,
with
same
GitHub.
project. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Now here we have to here you have to give the repository name. Okay. Now repository name cannot be just anything, because in our playbook here in the URL, the repository name is vprofile-repo. Okay, you should create the repository in the Nexus with the same name. Okay, that's because that's in our playbook. This is for this project. Okay, but when you write your own code, okay, and you can choose any other repository name. Okay, so I have to create the repository. I have to give the same repository name here. Okay, it's V capital and P capital. Okay, now we're going to add the artifact ID, the build underscore stamp variable, type var, and the file, get the path of the artifact. No workspace. Let's check this one. Target vprofile v1.var. All right, looks good. Okay, except the build timestamp value has not been set. So we'll set that value. So we'll set the same value what we set previously. Save and build it. All right, that's a success. It's uploaded. Let's check it out. Right, let's click on this link. So we have dev as a group ID, then the build timestamp value, then the build ID, and then the artifact. Now, as we know, we've seen previously also, this is the URL. By using this URL, we can download the artifact. We can give wget, or in Ansible, we have a module, okay, get URL, that works like wget, okay. But if you see here in the project, if we want to give this on our playbook, we have to give the URL, and the URL has some value that changes regularly every time the build happens. Like the build timestamp will differ, the build ID will change, the artifact version will change. So there are three things that are going to change every time I run the job. All right, so that I have to make sure it passes the right value to my playbook, and that's why we are using variables. Okay, so the Nexus IP, all right, the group ID. All right, so let me open editor, compare those things. So let's take this URL. Okay, now as I told you, we can't pass this URL inside the playbook, right? But we have few things that will change in every build, and a few things that will change from project to project or environment to environment. Example, project to project. I'm working for one project. The Nexus will be IP will be something else, and for current project will be something else. So things that changes. Okay, we use variable in that. Okay, and we'll pass this variable to the Ansible playbook. Okay, through Jenkins. We're going to pass this variable through Jenkins. Okay, so like Nexus IP, right? Group ID dev, that is going to change as per the environment. Like I'm running a dev job, it will be dev. If I'm doing it for QA, it will be QA. And if you choose some other name, so that will also change. This will change in every job I run. Every time I run a build job, this is going to change the build timestamp. So I'm using a time variable over there. Okay, this is just the name of the variable. You can choose anything, but we have to pass the same variable. Okay. Now we've seen in Ansible that we can put the variable inside the playbook. We can put in group vars directory, host vars directory. If we have roles, we put it in vars directory. Okay, there is one more way of passing it through the command line. Okay, so we'll see how that will happen through Jenkins, right? But first we have to make sure that we have these as variable. Okay, so the build and the last one, the vprofile underscore version, I have used a variable which is going to be the entire version of the artifact. Okay, now let's come back to Jenkins. Now first we'll combine these two jobs, source code analysis and dev job. Configure. So we want to create a build pipeline by ourselves, right? So I'll say build other projects, and after source code analysis it should trigger automatically a vprofile development job. That is done. So dev is a downstream job of source code analysis. Okay, now I have already installed Ansible plugin. I have installed all the plugins already. So you're going to need an Ansible plugin in Jenkins that will add a feature where you can run Ansible playbook from Jenkins. This plugin was not there initially, so we used to just run we used to run the execute shell. Okay, execute shell, and we used to give the Ansible -playbook and the playbook path like that we used to run. But now we have a plugin, right? And it is called as Ansible invoke Ansible playbook. There's also invoke Ansible ad hoc command. You can also run ad hoc command from here. You can run the playbook. Since we have the playbook written, we are going to use this. Right now, playbook path. Our playbook path is Ansible / vprofile.yml or YAML. So we have Ansible directory in our workspace. Inside that we have the playbook. Okay. Now here we have to give the inventory. Now, as I told you, we first create the inventory. Now you are not going to put the inventory into the source code, all right, into the version control tool. It's not a good idea because there we have the IP address. If you put the credential, we'll have the credential also. That's very dangerous to put those things. Okay, even if the Git is a private repository, you can compromise that information with the developers and testers, the production instance, no credentials. That's not good. So we have to create the inventory here itself in the job, right? So we'll give inline content. Okay, this is your inventory file. Now, instead of you creating your inventory file, you can put your inventory file over here, right? So here I'll give first the host name. So I'll say, Tomcat dev 1 Ansible underscore SSH underscore host equal to, I'm going to give its IP address. Okay, and then I'll create a group Tomcat servers. If you see, our playbook is running on the group Tomcat servers. Okay, we are running it on a group. Now that's very beneficial because now if you have multiple Tomcat server here, okay, we put all those into the group and it can do deployment of all of them one by one. Okay, Tom. Right, so we don't have the Tomcat instances yet. And we are not going to install Tomcat. Playbook is going to install it. So we just need an EC2 instance. So this playbook is actually using yum module, and there is no condition or nothing over here to install to yum or apt-get. Okay, we're not using, it's a plain simple playbook, assuming that you already have the Tomcat instance with CentOS operating system. So I'm going to create CentOS instances. So you're going to need 3. We're going to create 3 environment. So for one for dev, one for QA, and one for staging. Okay, in real time you'll have more than one. Okay, for QA and staging at least. Just give here 3. Directly create 3 instances. You can give number of instances. Add storage. Make sure it's general purpose volume type. Delete on termination. Now we have to create a security group. So let's say Tomcat-SG, that's the name, and its rules will be like this. First, we need to do SSH. All right. We also need to see the web dashboard on port 8080. So my IP. Okay. And all right, let's create this as of now, and we'll make some changes later. I'm going to use existing key. All right, let's change its names. So first we'll say Tomcat-dev for dev environment, Tomcat-QA for QA environment, Tomcat-UAT for UAT environment. Okay, let's take its private IP. That is very late, Asif. You would have given long back. You don't see the request. If it's with the same name, I'll let them know. Okay, so I have given the IP address, but what about the credential? I can't give credential here also. Ansible, user and password. Then it will be, clearly, and if somebody opens the job, will be able to see the credentials. What we are going to use, we are going to do a key-based login. Like to the Tomcat server, if you want to log in, we use this key, right? CentOS @ and the private IP of Tomcat. Sorry, the public IP from here. So this is how we log in. Okay. Now Ansible uses SSH. Okay, it uses the credentials, or it uses credential in the form of key. So we can also add this key, the Ohio Jenkins.pem key, okay, in our Jenkins. So let me get that. So we'll add the key here. So this is the credential for Ansible to log in. Ansible using SSH. So SSH login. So here we have option SSH username with private key. That's how we do manual login. So the username we set CentOS, and here there are 3 options. You can enter the key directly, okay, or you can have it somewhere located in your system, Jenkins server, and give the path. We're going to enter the key directly here. Copy the content. Paste it here. Okay. Now, if you are not doing key-based login, if you're doing the password-based login, then you have to first of all create the user, all right, and give the sudoers access to that user, and put that username and password in your inventory file, but that's not a good idea. The best method is key-based login. Okay, let's say Tomcat CentOS. Okay, this is credential for Ansible. Okay, to connect to this machine, key-based login. All right. Now we have given Ansible playbook, and we have given the IP address, and we have given the credentials. All right. If I just save and run, this is going to run the playbook. But we also have variables mentioned in our playbook, and that we have to pass. We have to pass its values, right? That we can do from this plugin itself. Click on Advanced tab, and if you don't have become yes in your playbook, you can put a check mark here on sudo. You can put a check mark here on sudo, all right? Or it's not necessary, since our playbook already has become :yes. That's not a problem. Okay, you can give some other settings. All right, we're going to ignore those things. We're going to directly go to the variables, extra variables. Now here we can pass the variable. So we have 5 variables over here. One is Nexus IP. Nexus IP. Okay. All right, I'll accept that. So Nexus IP from Jenkins. Jenkins has uploaded the artifact to the Nexus. Now this playbook will run, which will download the artifact from Nexus to Tomcat server. Okay, so Tomcat server is going to connect to the Nexus repository. All right, I'm going to give the private IP. This private IP of Nexus. Right. Next variable we have, let's check, is the group ID. Okay. Group ID, and its value is dev, because that's what we did over here. Group ID dev. If you have putting a different dev ID, your URL will be different, will contain a different name, so you have to pass the same. Okay. Now next variable. Next variable is time, and then we have build time. Now we know this changes. We cannot give a static value over here, but we have the build timestamp, and that's the value of the time variable. Okay, so we're gonna give dollar why it's deleting. Okay, build timestamp. Now every time I run the job, build timestamp value is different. The same will come in the URL, and same I'm passing. Okay, so here I'm passing this variable's value is actually another variable. This is the variable in the Jenkins. Okay, and its value is going to be the time. Now the next one is the build, and this is the build ID. Okay, that is coming all from the URL. Okay, if you check this, that's the build timestamp, that's the build ID 1. Okay, which will change, and then we have the version. Okay, vProfile version. Its value is going to be the build underscore timestamp hyphen build ID dot var. Right, check that. Right. Now, a variable may look daunting and complicated initially, but there's one method always use in your mind. Now, first write a normal playbook. I think I told this previously also. First write a normal playbook, okay? Then look for the values that changes from environment to environment, project to project, okay? Your playbook should be reusable, okay? First of all, it should be working. then it should be also reusable. Now I'm going to use the same playbook for dev, QA, and staging all the environment, and I can use it for different projects also. Okay, if you have similar Java project, all right, because I have used here variables, all right, and you should, once you use the variable, you should know how to pass the variable. One method is you put it into the playbook or group wars or host wars file, or you can pass it as a command line argument also. Okay, so once I put this and when I run the job, when I run this job, you'll see Jenkins is actually passing everything from command line. Okay, so let's save this and we're going to run this, or this is going to fail, and we're going to fix all this problem one by one. Okay, let's build now. Okay, there are various problems, okay, which I'll fix one by one. All right, it is giving me an error, right? And it's a, so it is running the command, right? The Ansible playbook. So let's read this command first of all. Ansible playbook and the playbook part. Good. -I inventory. So I created inventory in the plugin. It created a file in the temp directory. Okay, good. Then -s -f5. This is fork. Okay, if you have like 10 Tomcats in your Tomcat group, okay, it's gonna do the deployment 5 at a time. Okay, making 5 assist connection at a time. All right, you can change that from the plugin also. All right, since we already have one, this does not affect. Now private key for login. So we have given in the plugin, right, but it creates a file and passes that from the command line. So -hyphen private key and the key -u, right, and the username sent to us. All this we have given plugin. It is passing everything as command line, right? Now the variables -e, and you can pass the variable and its value from command line like this. So I've given into plugin, and again it is passing through command line. So Nexus IP is this, group ID is this, and time, you see build timestamp value, it has taken properly. Build ID, second job, right? The build ID will be 2, it's passed properly, and also the profile version. Now, what's the problem? It's saying command execution failed, cannot run program, blah blah blah, no such file or directory. Okay. Now I have installed the Ansible plugin, but I have not installed Ansible package inside the Jenkins server. Okay, see, this is when you want to run the Ansible command, you should have the Ansible package installed. The plugin is just helping us to run that command, but that package is not installed, Ansible package. So we are going to go to the Tomcat machine, Jenkins machine, and hopefully this is Jenkins, where dev. This is Jenkins. So we are going to install Ansible on this. Ansible installation. Okay, don't just directly do apt-get install Ansible. That will install the older version. Okay, we are targeting for the newest version. So we'll add the repository first of all. You can run just apt also, that also works. Right, so Ansible is installed on Jenkins. Let's run the job once again.
Hi Imran, which version have you installed? So you installed from
Ansible.
the repository, or you took the
So
version
Ansible version, when you install from Ansible repository itself, so it's going to be the latest one. It's 2.4, yeah, 2.4.1.0.
Okay, so it's better to install it from the repository every time.
Always, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Imran, are these all machines in the same region?
Same region in the same VPC. Okay, the VPC networking stuff you'll understand. Okay, this is in the same region as of now we can understand, and it should be in the same region. Okay, in case all your automation boxes should be in the same network where you have your infrastructure, your web services, DB services, and all of them. Okay, it should be in the same network. Okay, now it's working fine, and we got some deprecation warning also. Sudo command line option has been deprecated. Okay, so we'll remove this deprecation warning also, but this is just a warning, but we have a severe fatal error here, and that says, so playbook is running, it's just saying unreachable, unable to connect to this host. Okay, that's our Tomcat. Okay, it's not able to connect to the Tomcat. Now, unreachable, okay, network problem, not able to reach through the network. It's in the same network, but there is a firewall that is blocking it, and this firewall is security group. Okay, so Jenkins or the Ansible is not able to connect to the Tomcat machine. Okay, so let's go to the Tomcat security group. Connection issues, okay, it's going to be the problem with the security group most of the time. All right, unreachable, connection timed out, such kind of error. So if you see, our rule says allow 8080 from my IP and 22 from my IP. Now Ansible connects on port 22 SSH, it uses SSH. Okay, now Ansible, which is inside the it's in the Jenkins server. Okay, and Jenkins server is in Jenkins security group. I'm going to give the Jenkins security group. So I'm telling that every machine that belongs to the Jenkins security group can connect to this machine on port 22. Okay, see this, and this will only work if you're using private IPs. Okay, otherwise you have to specifically give the public IP and allow the access, which is not good. All right, when we talk about VPC, this will get more clearer. As of now, understand, use private IP if you are in the same region. Okay, so that's why.
Sorry,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. Every time this will change, right? Whenever you stop the instance and whenever you start it
No,
again.
this is private
This
IP. Private IP
will
will not change. Private IP will not change.
okay.
Public IP will change, and if you are using again elastic IP, that will not change. But private IP will never change.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So see here we are using private IP. Okay. In the inventory file we are using private IP. For Nexus uploading we are using Nexus private IP. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's run this. So I could have fixed this anyways before I run the job, but I know you'll face similar issues, okay, when you're doing this project in real time also. So that's why we are covering all these issues one by one. Okay, this is a part of troubleshooting. Connection timed out, unreachable network issues. Okay, one way to check the connectivity is, so I'm on the Jenkins machine. We can use the telnet command. Let's see, telnet is installed. Yeah, it is installed. Do telnet command. Okay, telnet is a very old command. We did not have SSH and all those things previously. If you want to execute any commands on remote machine, okay, the telnet was the option, but telnet is very insecure. It sends that the data unencrypted in clear text, but telnet is still used today to check the connectivity for some troubleshooting. So you can use, now this is Jenkins, okay, and Ansible installed on this, and I'm trying to connect to the Tomcat. So I'll see whether the network connectivity is there or not. So I'll give telnet and the IP address of our Tomcat. Since I'm connecting on private IP, I'll use the private IP. Okay, and trying to connect on port 22. SSH, right? See, we got this. Okay, you have to type control and this square bracket closing, and you get a telnet shell. Now we are connected. If this does not connect, connection timed out, okay, taking time, then there is a network connectivity issue definitely there. Okay, or it could also mean that this port number is the service is not running on this port number. But if you know the service is running, Okay, we know SSH will be definitely running in EC2 instances on port 22 by default. So by running this command, we can understand that there is a network connectivity problem, okay, between Jenkins and the Tomcat. Right, and we have to fix that. So there could be several issues. If it's in a different network, then there will be other issues. If it's in the same network, the network connectivity is there, but you can understand then it's a firewall. There is some firewall. There's something that is blocking the connectivity. Okay. So likewise, I can telnet to the Nexus private IP. So what we are uploading the artifact, okay, on Nexus, and we are doing it on port 8081. So if the Nexus upload artifact is failing, you can check this. Okay, see, this is connected. If this fails, okay, or if this work and still there is some problem, then the problem is with this service, with the application that is running. Okay, you always have to make sure first the network connectivity is there, and then you troubleshoot into the application part. All right, this will be a very common problem that you will get in real time. Okay, regular problems, network connectivity, firewalls, because we'll try to close up everything. So for some reason, people will directly give allow from anywhere in the security group. That is very dangerous. Okay, can we not use SSH instead of telnet for connectivity check? See, telnet you can provide any port number. SSH is the port number 22, right? So that shows, it is you're able to connect on port 22. But what if you want to, let's say, like what we did now, you want to check the network connectivity for port 8081, right? So like that telnet you can provide any port. You should know what port number this service is running on. Sorry, what's yeah, exactly, right? So
What could be, sorry,
yeah, go
what
ahead.
could be the application issues apart from this, apart from connection
See,
issues?
application issues can be anything. Okay, it could be a bug in the software, it could be version problem. Most of the time you'll face the version problems, okay, that this version is not matching that version. For that, the only way to check the problem is you have to go and check the log files. Every time you have to go there and check the log file. So generally the log file will be located in this directory, var log. Okay, you see we have Jenkins installed, so there's a Jenkins directory here. Okay, in this directory you have the Jenkins log file. For example, Java version. I'm bringing up the Jenkins service. Okay, it's running on the port, but I'm getting UI. I'm getting some problem. Okay, it could be Java issue, could be any other issue. So you can check that in the log file, and don't do vi to the log file ever. Okay, just run the tail command. Okay, the log file, if there is some error, the error will be getting pasted in the file again and again and again. Due to that, the log file size can increase and it can go into GBs. All right, so never do vi. When you do vi to a file, it will load all that file into the memory, and because of that your system may hang also if you're running on low memory. Okay, so always do tail and you see if there is any error or something. All right, and you can check the size of the log file also by du-sh command to the file name. 180 KB, you can easily open it with vi editor. All right, don't do cat, don't do vi, just do tail. Okay, or you can grab the information from it. Like you can try to find some error. If there is any error, grab error -i, do -i, because sometimes the error is with small e, sometimes error is with capital E. You see there are some errors. Okay, some Hudson related error. Okay, then you can go ahead and open it. 1 second, it's failed. Okay, that failed. It is saying request failed, URL error, timed out. All right, so profile -repo. So let's go back and check our URL first of all. Dev build ID 447. This is the artifact, build ID 4, and compare the URL, okay? Print it here. Okay, that's the real URL, and let's check what URL it is using. Okay, so instead of public IP, we have private IP because in the same network, that's good. Nexus content repository vprofile -repo, right name, dev, right name. Okay, build stamp, timestamp, right value, but here, is it a problem or it is what we did? Right. So everything looks good. The URL is right, okay, but the problem would be something else now. Now, this playbook is running on the Tomcat server, and Tomcat is trying to download the artifact from Nexus. Okay. Now let's see whether from the Tomcat server there is a connectivity to the Nexus machine. Okay, so we have to log in the Tomcat machine. Okay, now that's how we check the connectivity. So we'll do telnet and the private IP. So is this? Okay. Private IP of the Nexus. See, I'm running this command from the Tomcat machine because Tomcat is trying to connect to the Nexus, and let's do 8081. Add command. I have to install telnet here. Install telnet. Let's run it. Yeah, you see this? This is the problem I was talking about. So Tomcat is not able to connect to the Nexus on port 8081. Okay. Now Nexus is running on port 8081. We have just seen the web viewer dashboard. So there is no problem with the application. So the problem is definitely with the network connectivity firewall. Okay. So let's go to the Nexus firewall and check its security group rules. All right, so it allows 8081 from my IP, and that is 8081. I know from where. So 8081, and we'll give here the Tomcat security group because Tomcat is trying to connect. Okay. This is from Jenkins. This is Jenkins security group that we already did, right? Now let's come back and try once again. You see, got it. Right, now let's run the job again. When you're dealing with multiple applications running in different machines, this is a very common problem. Okay, you should have the right tool and right understanding, first of all. Okay, you have to understand which service is trying to connect which service. Now here I know the playbook is running on the Tomcat machine, and Tomcat is trying to download the artifact from Nexus. Right? Right, it worked. See? All right. So now it deployed the artifact. Everything would be working fine. Okay, you can check the Tomcat web URL. All right. Let's log into the Tomcat machine. So we are in the Tomcat machine. So our artifact is in var lib Tomcat Devops. Okay, now, so when we deploy the artifact with this name, when the Tomcat service starts, it unzips and create this directory. Okay, can you please mute yourself, everyone? Now, this is the name of the application for us. If we give this over here, it's your application. We have vProfile application. All right, looks good, but that is a number. All right, the application is a number, and nobody will like that. Okay, we should give a name. So what do? Should we rename it? Well, no, we are going to create a link. Okay, so a link is created. This is done all by the playbook, which I'll show you now. So we're creating a link named as vProfile that is pointing to this directory. Okay, we're creating a soft link. So instead of doing that, I can give this name BNP Capital. Okay, so now that looks better, right? And of course, you're not going to give the IP address over here. It will be under a load balancer, and that load balancer will have a proper name, and that will be mapped with some domain name. So you'll have a proper URL like you see in real time. Okay, you're not going to give port 8080 also. You're going to give the load balancer name, and that will redirect the request to the Tomcat server. Okay, that's how it happens, right? You've seen the load balancer, and in Kubernetes we'll see the domain name and other stuff also. So you'll have a proper URL, right, of the load balancer. Now we are managing all that through the playbook. Okay, so let's read the playbook. So this is clear. Now here we are stopping the Tomcat service by service URL, and this is a new module for you, get URL. This is like wget. Okay, so get URL equal to the URL name. It will download whatever URL you give. Okay, now we are downloading. Yes, yeah.
I have one question. So, do we need to have our Ansible server in a Jenkins mission every time?
No, that's not mandatory. But see, that I recommend every time because Ansible is a very small package and it uses SSH connectivity. Okay, so if you have Jenkins for this, separate Jenkins for separate project, okay, it's a good idea to install Ansible instead of creating one more instance and then we add a node. Then we have to add a node, okay, of the Ansible, and then we have to run the deployment job from that node. Okay, that increases overhead unnecessary. And Ansible is a very small package. It's not a service. It's not going to consume any resources. Okay, it uses SSH client to connect to the target machine. So it's a good idea to install Ansible right in the Jenkins server itself. Okay, you can combine that. But if you're using Jenkins at an organization level, you'll have a different Ansible server. Okay, that time you can choose to add the Ansible server as a node to the Jenkins, and you have to run the job from the Ansible from that node. Okay, like when we have seen adding node to the Jenkins, right? Restrict where this job can run from. All right, so that is too much overhead. All right, so we used to do that when we have like Puppet and Chef, that kind of stuff. Okay, but it is not required with Ansible. Right, so that's a good idea. Okay,
So is there any license requirements? So if we are installing,
we are using all open source services. Okay, if you're using Ansible Tower and all, then you have to purchase a license. Then you're gonna have a web interface, all right, and then the licensing will differ. If you're using an enterprise version of any other software, you have to make sure you get the license and all.
In organizations, what they use, so they use open source or
we use open source only, and most of the time Ansible Tower is very new, and it gives you a web interface, okay, to the Ansible control machine. Okay, we can manage, we have also APIs over there. Okay, since Ansible has already simplified so many things, we most of the time don't even need the web interface. Chef had it, Puppet has it, right? And we have to pay some extra money for that. It is not at all necessary. You can see, we can create amazing playbooks and automation code by using the open source version. Okay, so you should have a good engineers who can manage Ansible, okay, command line instead of the GUI stuff. All right, my recommendation is you go for the open source only. It's waste of money, seriously.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, so now here we stop the Tomcat service, okay, and then so we downloaded the artifact not into the web apps directory, we downloaded into temp directory, okay, with the permission 755. All right, now what we are doing here is we are copying the artifact by using a shell module, okay, with a cp command. We copy the artifact to var lib tomcat web apps directory, okay. Then there is this command which is going to delete the link of the existing. So now this is the deployment. Oh, lost the connectivity. Okay. So now if I deploy a newer application here, okay, this link will still point to the older version. So I have to delete this link. So I can use a file module and I can directly delete the file, state absent. I give the path of the file, state absent. So I delete the link. Okay. Then I'll start the Tomcat service. Okay. Here, when I start the Tomcat service, a Tomcat service takes some time to load. Okay, when it is loading, that time it is going to create, it's going to unzip this artifact into this directory, and this procedure takes some time depending on the size of the application. If the application is huge, it takes more time. So we don't know how much time it will take. All right. So before that, after that, we have a command to create the link, the soft link. Okay, but if the application is not loaded, this directory will not be present, right? So target directory won't be present. So we have to make sure that it wait until and unless the directory becomes available. So we're using a wait for module. Okay, wait for module can wait for will halt the execution of playbook for a variety of cases. Like for example, wait for this path. If this path is not available, right, and here we are using variable, time hyphen build. If you see the directory name, it's the time and the build ID. So we are passing the version over here. So this is going to halt the execution of playbook until and unless this path is not available. Once this path is available, then only we create the link. Okay. Wait for can wait for other kind of cases also. Let's check its documentation. So we have put a condition that wait for the file to become available. It is also used for the port number mostly. So I have used personally for port numbers and paths. Okay, wait for a port 8000. So let's say I start a service and it takes some time. Let's talk about the Tomcat itself. Start the Tomcat service and it's going to take some time to start the service. And once it starts, it will create this port. Right, and the next step, let's say in your playbook, is to do something else which access the Tomcat service. Okay, that next step will fail if the Tomcat is not completely loaded. Okay, so we can wait for the port number also. Wait for this port will become available. All right, so personally I used it for port number and path. All right, and you can provide the state also, like drained. You can delay it for 10 seconds. Okay, there are other options. Okay, wait for the path state to become absent to get deleted. All right, by default the state is present. All right, so there are a variety of ways you can use the wait for module. Okay, there is one more module, pause module. Okay, pause will just pause the execution of the playbook for certain seconds, but when we don't know how much time it's going to take, we can't afford to use a pause module. So wait for is a good module over here use. Right, and then we have stopping the firewall over here, which is not so good, but just for the ease of the situation, because this this project contains so many things, I just use stopping the firewall. But in the book you have the method to update the firewall rules also. Okay, so updating the firewall rule is always better, okay, than stopping it, since we have firewall security group also. So that's why as of now it's good. Okay, but in production you should have multiple layers of security group, firewalls in the operating system, and in VPC I'll show you one more thing, NACL. Okay, so that is done, deployment is completed. Okay, so you don't need to write this playbook, it's already there in the GitHub. So once you check out the source code, the playbook, Ansible playbook will also come. All right, now that was for the dev environment. Now let's do it for the QA environment. Okay, so it's going to be simple. We freestyle project, and I'm going to copy everything in the dev environment. All right, now in the QA environment also, I'm building it again. All right, I build it, upload it to the Nexus, and then deploy it from there. Okay, same thing. Here we're gonna change the group ID. Okay, a QA artifact should go into different directory, QA. Right, that's one thing we're changing over here, and we also have to change the IP address of the QA Tomcat machine. QA Tomcat. All right, now let's check our variables. So Nexus IP will remain same. Group ID will change from dev to QA. Okay, build timestamp, build ID. Okay, everything remains same. All right, let's save this and run this. You see, what did I change? I just changed few values. Right, I just copied the existing job. You see how reusable our playbook is. Okay, our playbook, it can be used for different environments. Right, that's reusability. You should always consider writing a reusable playbook. Okay, it will save a lot of pain. Right, you can use this playbook to different environments also, different projects also. Okay, by changing few things. The more variables you use, the better it is for reusability. Okay. Now, after the QA deployment, you're going to have one more job, which is going to do the software testing. But for that, we need Windows node. Okay, that I'll show up to you. We have a software test written by testers for our vProfile application. We also need a database for that. So all that information will be posted on the Facebook group. Okay, the document is almost ready. The few touches are there. You just have to include one more job here. Okay, which is going to run the test cases. Okay, so we'll create a dummy job after this. New item, vProfile QA hyphen test. So I'm creating a dummy job. Okay, which will just put an execute shell. Test case execution. Right, like that. Or you can give in the save job also. Okay, now in this job, you're going to add the steps that I'll put it on the Facebook group. Okay, the document, it's almost ready. All right, so you have to include that in this playbook. All right. Okay, the execution is going on. Okay, now let's create another job. vProfile hyphen UAD. Freestyle. Copy from vProfile hyphen dev. Okay, now this job, once your QA testing completes, okay, if your QA testing is completed, the artifact is tested. We did the source code analysis on that. The unit test executed with Maven phases. We did the software testing also on the QA job. Now the artifact is well tested, and you can deploy you have to deploy the same artifact to the UAT. You don't need to build it once again. Okay, it's already built. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to have to take that artifact and deploy it. All right. So what I want to do is I'll just put there's not going to be any build phase, no artifact uploading. I'll just run the Ansible playbook. Okay, providing the IP address of the Tomcat UAT. For the deployment, I'm going to use the playbook. So I'm using the same thing. My playbook is very much reusable. Okay. have to give separate different names here, right? Anyways, this does not matter too much. Sorry, not QA, this is QA. I did not change this one in QA job also. I have to change that. Okay, fine. The keys are same for login, the IP address has changed, but there is a problem, a big problem. Okay, Nexus IP remains same, group ID, we are going to take it from the QA group ID because that is the artifact, that is the tested one. All right, now next, time, build timestamp. Now what about this? The build timestamp value is going to be coming from the current job. The current job is UAT job, and this build timestamp value will be different, okay, that we have in the URL. Okay, same for the build ID. The build ID is different. Okay, it's coming from the QA, and here when it runs from here, this will be taken from the UAT job, right? So we don't have the right build timestamp value, the build ID value. Okay, so what do? We can create a parameterized job. Okay, we can take the parameters. When you run this job job will ask you parameters. This will ask you 3 string parameters. Okay, you have to pass those parameters, and those will be the variables. Okay, so we'll click on this project is parameterized, add parameter, string parameter. Okay, here it is passing $build timestamp. Okay, so we'll say build underscore timestamp. Okay, either you can use a different parameter over here, but you have to then use the same over here. Okay, I'll use something else. It's time, just to avoid the confusion. Time ID. ID. Okay, and we'll use here the same one. Time ID. Okay, and instead of this, we'll give a different name. We'll say version. So when I run this job will ask me 3 values: one for time, one for ID, one for version. Okay, same will be passed over here: $time, $ID, and I have to give $version. Okay, if you save this, and if you see here now, you have a new option here: build with parameter. Click on this, and this will ask you parameter. Now here you have to give the parameters. Okay, so let's see. QA, and let's say we want to deploy this one. Dev, not dev, sorry, QA. So I'm going to pass this one with the time. The ID is 1, and the version is time-id.var. Click on build, and these values will be passed. Okay. Now, since we don't have the right value, we are passing as a parameter. But then, if it's a part of a continuous delivery project, when the source code analysis triggers QA, dev triggers QA, QA triggers UAT, then once the QA triggers UAT, okay, then it won't be able to run because it needs parameters. So there's going to be a manual intervention. Okay, and we have to find a way where automatically those build parameters are passed. Okay, and for that we have a plugin. So from QA job, we'll pass these parameters to the UAT job. Okay, this is the most complex thing over here. Okay, simple for configuration, okay, but complex, okay, when you're working on a project. So UAT job, we know it's a parameterized job. These jobs are called as parameterized. You have to pass the parameter. But in continuous delivery, if we pass parameters, then we are breaking our continuous delivery pipeline, right? It should be automatically passed. So QA can pass it by using a plugin. The plugin I have already installed, it's called as parameterized trigger plugin, and all the plugin list is there. So all the plugin list is there, okay, in the book, the last chapter, right? A sample continuous delivery project. So you just go ahead and install all the plugin first. So the plugin name is parameterized trigger plugin. Where is that? Trigger parameterized build on other project. So like build other project will just trigger the other job. This will trigger the job and can also pass parameters. So I'm saying just trigger the UAT job. Okay, and I'll say add parameter, and we'll say predefined parameters. Predefined parameters. So there we have time, and we'll give its value as $build underscore timestamp. Okay, that is the correct one from the QA. We have ID, so we'll give its value as $build underscore ID. A version, so we'll give version. So version, and its value is going to be build timestamp $build ID dot var. Okay, so once this job completes, we'll trigger this job and we'll pass these parameters. Okay, this name should exactly match with the string parameter name that you have given in the UAT job. Okay, and its value is again a variable. So let's check if the UAT job is completed. UAT job is completed successfully. Let's click on QA job. Let's click on build now. Okay, saying triggering a new build profile UAT. Let's click on this, and it triggered, and you see it's working. Okay, you can check time value is proper build timestamp. See these values, build ID. So it's automatically passing now. Okay, so no manual intervention, right? So we passed it from QA job to UAT job. Sometimes you have to pass the parameters from multiple jobs, like the dev job is passing it to the QA, QA is passing it to the UAT, UAT is passing to the staging. All right, so this is like variable routing. Route the variable different places, right? That's the best way to pass the parameter. Now there is one more question that will be asked sometimes in the interview, that how do I deploy these entire jobs, all the jobs are deploying the latest version of the artifact, but what if you want to roll back? I want to deploy the older version. If you want to deploy the older version, well, build with parameter is the answer. Build parameter, pass the older values. It's going to deploy the older artifact, right? And then you can combine everything together. Dev job should trigger the QA job. All right, lots of job. Okay, now we'll create a pipeline. So we'll install the build pipeline plugin, manage plugins. Build pipeline. Build pipeline. Installed. Okay, now let's create a nice view. Click on this, build pipeline. I give a name, profile hyphen yes. All right, source code analysis is going to be the first job. Let's click on this. And there you go. Right, click on run. Enable auto refresh. And you have a pipeline. Okay, it's not only going to build the artifact, it's going to test the artifact. It is also going to do the configuration management for you. Any new configuration change that you want to do in the Tomcat server, you do it through the playbook. Okay, for that your playbook has to be there on the version control system. If it is not there on the version control system, okay, and you don't have permission to put in the version control system, sometimes this is the problem. Okay, sometimes they'll not allow you to put your code because of various reasons. Okay, that's actually the very wrong thing. But there's some companies who are still running with the old mentality. Developers are separate, operations are separate. You don't give access to this, all right, for the development environment, the source code and all. So in that case, you'll see, where will I put my playbook then? Okay, we know one thing, that we are executing it from the Jenkins, for example. Okay, so we are going to execute it from the Jenkins job. That means your playbook should be existing in the workspace of the job. Okay, every job has a workspace. So what you can do is, so Jenkins, that's our Jenkins. Connection is gone. Let's be connected. Var lib Jenkins. In this you have a workspace directory. And I did not have any ways I can put my playbook over there. All right, so what I used to do is we used to put it into the workspace. So this project is exactly same, except you have to put the playbook here in the workspace manually. Okay, but you don't need to do that. Okay, you can ignore that point where it says Ansible code modification. Okay, so you log into the Jenkins server, go into the directory, okay, in the workspace, okay, and put your playbook over there. All right, so that's how we used to do it previously, but now you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this step. Your playbook will be already there. Okay, and it is there for every job. Okay, so you can ignore that part, except that everything is same. Okay, instead of game of life projects, we have our vProfile project. All right, our own project. Right, so you can follow this and you can set up, but use our vProfile application. Don't use the game of life. I mean, if you want, you can use it for learning. All right, but a vProfile application already have the playbook in the version control, so you can use that. Okay. All right. All right, so that would be all for the project for today. You can replicate the same thing on by using the book. Okay, set up everything on AWS. Give this right security group rule. Initially, if you have problem in security group rules, you can just give all traffic from anywhere. Okay, but for learning, then disable it. You can use this rule, all traffic anywhere. This is a very bad rule, that's why I don't show this. But when you're configuring the project by yourself, if you have problems, security group rules, you just give all traffic anywhere, so you don't have to worry about the firewall rules. But once your project is running, everything is fine, then remove that rule and add the other rules one by one. Okay, and you can use the telnet utility to troubleshoot the problem if it's a network problem. Okay, any question you have, you put it on the Facebook group. Okay, I assume now you have to have sent the Facebook request, so I'll tell them to add the other people also who have not yet added. And please post the questions. I don't see any questions from you people. I don't know whether you're practicing or not. Okay, it's been a long time, right? That's all. In next week we'll complete everything. Everything will be done. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Imran. I have one
Yeah.
question, but I don't know whether it is valid one or not. So I remember when we are building the source code, we have an option to choose the Java version and all, right?
Yeah.
So,
Um,
so
like
how when we are installing it, does that
installing what Jenkins you're talking about, or
no.
Tomcat?
Tomcat?
Hmm.
And see, I'm confused with that. I'm not sure whether my question is right here or not. When you are
Go ahead.
building your project, when you are building your software has its own requirements, right? Right, like
Right.
it needs to have certain Java versions and some other
Right. Right.
requirements.
Right.
Once it is built, does the same requirement need to be have in the Tomcat server as well?
Yes. Yes. As far as my experience go, yes.
Okay.
Same version.
So, okay, how you
It's
are?
again not mandatory. Some applications are works on different version of Java also. Okay, some have a specific requirement that it should be built only on this version of Java and it should be only deployed on this version of Tomcat application. Okay, so in such strict requirement, anyways you'll get the information from the developer. You see, first they'll do it on their local machine, everything, and they'll tell you the versions, with
Okay.
Java version, a Tomcat version, everything. Okay, those things you're not going to decide. You just have to
Okay.
take the information and you put in your playbook or manually when you're installing. Okay,
So our
so
playbook you have used now, right now, does it have an option to choose the versions in it?
see here I have given OpenJDK 1.8 in the playbook.
Okay.
Right, so if you want to install a different Java, you can give there.
Okay.
Okay, or
Yep.
if you want to download it from a different place and then install it, you can do that also. That you have to use the some Ansible modules and play with it. Okay, like yum will download, you give the name of the software, it will download it for you, yum install, like that. Okay, before that we're adding a repository, EPL release repository. Okay,
Okay.
this is a
And
repository that has lots of software. So this is for
okay.
CentOS, for apt-get it will be different, right? So you have to play with that, you have to use different modules.
Okay. One more question.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No, go
One
ahead,
more
go ahead. You
question.
don't have to be sorry, people. Why are you sorry?
No, no,
Go
no.
ahead.
I forgot the question. Actually, I
Oh,
was.
okay.
That was actually.
Imran.
Yeah.
Okay. Let other people ask. Let me remember it.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Imran, I was setting up that media wiki task, and I was working on that. When I went ahead to the Puppet agent and I just run that command,
Mm-hmm.
so no errors, everything was looking good. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to that particular from the Git repository, it's not getting downloaded. So how do I
No, it
get
takes
everything?
time. It takes time. It takes very long time. It's a
No, I did
huge.
it like it's just showing me 4K, 4K, 4K. I tried like it's been waiting for half an hour and it still is showing me 4K and but no errors and nothing when I run that particular.
It halted. It halted, right?
No, it not halted.
It got any error?
No, that's the my when I run Perfect Agent verbose node immunize on time, so it gives me everything is config, everything is perfect. So when I go to the check the var at www.html path and I check that
Uh-huh.
index file, is it growing or like whatever is the size? It's remains same. I don't know where it's breaking out.
So answer these questions to me.
Yeah.
You put everything in the manifest file.
Okay.
Okay, you put
Yeah.
everything. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and all the above step, whatever the steps that happened
Mm-hmm.
before the Git, it's working fine, right?
Yep.
Installation of Apache, everything is working fine.
Exactly. Yep.
You,
Yep.
you have a resource that deletes the index.html file. You put that.
Yep. I reorder that.
Okay,
I just
resource
made sure
already
that.
done.
Yep.
Okay,
I worked on that as
so
well.
that was working fine. And after
Yep.
that, did you continue writing the VCS repo, or did you shut down the Puppet and then you tried it later like that
I continuously trying to do that. Not
at the same
no
time?
shutdown. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why I'm asking this question is because sometimes this happens if once you restart the Puppet Master service, then it picks
Uh-huh.
up everything. Okay. So
Okay.
that problem will happen if you know stop the Puppet service, okay, or shut down the Puppet system, and then you started
Okay.
all Vagrant of everything, and then then you started writing the manifest, and then you run the Puppet agent command. It does not work. So you have to restart the
Okay.
Puppet Master at that time. So if you did that, then
Okay.
restart the Puppet Master service. It will work. Okay. One
Okay.
more thing,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
check whether Git is installed or not, because
I
that
did it. I
VCS
did
repo
that.
will install Git also. So Git is installed.
Yeah, I did it because I tried. I did it. I just wanted to be because last time when I worked on this because I made to when I installed Git and Maven together, so I got to know that Git has to be there. So
No, no,
so
no.
I
VCS repo will install Git. You don't have to install it.
yeah.
So
Okay, but
VCS repo
I
module
ensured
will
to install it
install.
manually also.
No, remove that. Remove that.
Okay.
Remove
Okay.
that.
Mhm.
Okay, don't do it. Let VCS repo take care of it. All right, no manual
Okay.
intervention. That is for different thing. That is for Jenkins, because Jenkins
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
install it, right? So that's why we did it, right? So
Okay.
for but configuration management is like you don't configure anything manually. When you configure
Okay.
something manually, then it conflicts with your configuration management tool. So let
Okay.
configuration management tool do everything. So you
Okay.
remove that Git. And
Mhm.
if you install Git, just try to do git clone and the URL and the branch name,
Mhm.
same name and the URL that you have given in your manifest file. Try it, okay, manually.
Okay.
If it's working,
Sure.
it will definitely work with Puppet. So
Sure.
try the
Sure.
steps.
Yeah.
Restart the
Yeah.
Puppet Master service, remove the Git, okay, let
Mhm.
VCS repo install its own Git, okay, and then check. And you have to wait for a long time.
Sure, sure, Imran, I'll do this today. Yeah, I'll just check it out. Imran, one more thing.
Okay.
Whenever you fire free hyphen num, so the basic memory information, I just wanted to check. There is an option like cache data. So what is it like? What exactly the cache data is? So is it a like
See,
application data?
it
Yeah,
could
is
be
it like
it could be any application, any command, any service that you're running. So it will cache some information, so it can use it, quickly, instead of creating new memory entries into the RAM. It just caches few things. Sometimes what happens is, the cache is too much, and because of that, the memory space is less.
Performance goes down.
Performance decreases. Sometimes you clear the cache, but that is, first of all, you have to figure out whether the cached application, sometimes you have a service that is already running and it's caching something, and if you clear the cache, the other service may become slow. Okay, that's an operating system. You have to check the statistics, stat, so many commands you have to run. Okay, so if there is no performance issues, okay, don't clear the cache, just keep it as it is. If you reboot the machine, the cache will get cleared automatically.
Okay,
but there is a way to clear the cache also.
Yeah, just checking. Thank you.
Imran, I have a question. So when we have created the build pipeline, so first it is deploying in a dev, then it is going to QA. So in a QA, testers will test the code, right? So they need some time to test the code, right? So how it will alter there till they do?
No. We don't let them do it. We will do it for them. See, once they have written their test cases and all, it's all about they'll execute something, right? We can execute same thing from the Jenkins job, and for that itself, we have written some test cases. Okay, a tester has written some test cases for a V profile. Okay, that will be posted over there. I just created one job here, right? You have to put all that in this job, test case execution, and then we execute from the Jenkins job. Yes, and even if we execute it by ourselves, okay, it is not always allowed to go into the next level. Some manual approval will be there. Right, so we do the test cases, everything works out fine, we push the artifact into the next level, UAT staging, but we don't let it go into production. Before it goes to production, there are some security analysis and other things also would be done that I'll talk about in DevSecOps. But as far as execution is concerned, any execution, database deployment, test case execution, any kind of execution, if it's just execution, we execute it from continuous delivery job. Okay, everybody have to automate. Okay, they have to automate everything that they're executing, right? You have to write the developers, the DB developers have to write the DB scripts, the tester has to write automation test scripts. Okay, and we'll execute it. Okay, no manual intervention. We slowly, this is not like one day job or one time job. It is improvisation. Slowly they'll integrate. We have to integrate one by one. Okay, this project I have just shown you in few one and a half hour, but this will take some few weeks of time. Okay, you improvise, and you have to wait for people to write their test scripts and DB scripts and source code and all those things. You create a dev job first, you create a source code analysis job, you do it one by one, and then you start linking them one by one. Okay, it takes some time in the project.
But see, whenever the version is changing, again they will write some more test case on top.
Yeah, so those test cases they'll put on version control system.
Okay,
like we have a playbook, they'll put it over there. Once they have written a new test cases, they put it over there, and we'll have just one URL. We'll check out, and we'll run them.
Okay. Yep. Understood. Thank you.
No problem. Puppet, Puppet is completed. Can you send Facebook request? You could have sent Facebook request long back, man. I don't know why people taking such a long time. Okay, but you can send it now anyways. All right, guys. So try this project yourself. This will give you a wholesome idea of DevOps. This is why DevOps is existing in the market, to create continuous delivery, continuous deployment, continuously doing anything, testing, scripting, automation, anything continuously. Okay, this is a wholesome idea of DevOps. This is what people hire you for. All right, so once you do this, you'll get an idea what you have to do in real time. All right, here we have combined a lot of services together, and hopefully we'll combine few more services in next week. All right, so that would be all for today. Okay, Hira, I'll show you. Okay, Hira, I'll show you. All right, at the end, once you are done with everything that you have practiced, okay, at the end we have few things pending also, one or two things. Okay, email notification in Jenkins. So I have list of that. So at the end of the day, we'll cover those things when we discuss about the DevOps projects and other stuff. Okay. VIM enhanced package name for VIM. Okay, what is that? It's a new package name you're saying?
No, through the actually through Puppet we are facing the installation, right? VM package is not installing.
Oh,
So
the package name you're saying
current
is
package,
VIM. Okay, okay.
yes.
Okay, got it.
So
Yeah.
VM. So this is the package name for VM.
Oh, okay. Is that so? Thanks, man. I didn't know that.
Oh,
We never installed VIM with Puppet. That's why.
okay. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thanks about that. So I'll update that in the book.
Sure.
All right, guys. Then that would be all for today. I will see you tomorrow. There is a class tomorrow going to start about Docker. And as I told you about Python scripting, it's going to be on Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday. I'll just put that information on Facebook today. Okay, it's going to be 2 day of Python scripting class. All right, it's going to be next week, Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday. I'll put that today anyhow on the Facebook. All right, so I'll see you tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye bye. Have a good day and night.
Bye.
And
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.